Now I want to tell you one more story, and it's a much happier story, and that's about a dog named Preston. Preston. Wait till you see this face. Preston's Linux too. Preston is a pit bull. This is Preston up in Columbus at a kill shelter right before Valentine's Day of this year. Emaciated. You can see his backbone sticking out. Both of his rear legs in this picture are broken. He's about 5 months old in this photo. And he was about a day from being euthanized. Not because he was a pit bull. It's because the shelter was crowded. But had he been in Cincinnati a few months earlier, or whichever county right now has BSL, same situation as Linux. We were lucky to get Preston out of the shelter and into a foster home. He's a licker, clearly. We got him to the vet and had some x-rays done, and in fact, his legs were very bad. One of his legs, I think on the left leg, was broken so badly that the bone had actually fused already incorrectly, but enough to where he could eventually walk on it and be okay. Now the other leg was actually broken at the joint and had to have surgery, and we did not have the money. And thank God for Facebook. Some people hate it, but hey, Preston got $2,500 from Facebook to have his surgery. So, Facebook friends out there, thank you. Preston has his own Facebook page, by the way. He has a lot of fans, and actually some of them have donated items here tonight. And they would all like to have been here tonight, of course, but just couldn't make it this far. Preston is adoptable, and he is looking for a home. Like I said, he's been through a lot. This was his first foster home. We had to make sure that you knew which one because he had a foster sister that had the opposite eye. And as you can see, he's with another pit bull. He's with 2 labs. So again, pit bull does not equal bad dog. Pretty obvious right there. Don't ever try that with a pit bull. I have TMJ now. That's just a bad idea. But that was fun. We got to take him to PetSmart, and he couldn't really walk very well, so we put him in the cart. And he had a lot of fun. He made a lot of friends. I'm telling you, this dog has more personality in his bottom lip, which you'll see, than any dog I've ever met in my life. He is a treasure. He is just special. He's sweet. He's happy. He's fun. He's playful. He's just cool. He's just cool. This is at my work, and we had a little meet and greet for Preston. Preston loves the vitamin store, by the way. And I do recommend Spring Street Vitamins for all your shopping needs. Shameless plug. But my boss, who's here tonight, Mr. Todd, stand up, Todd. Yeah, I'm doing that to you. Come on. Todd has donated a lot for Preston. A lot of supplements. Preston has to take glucosamine, and I don't want to bore you with all this stuff, but he takes a lot of supplements, and Todd has been able to help him get those things that he desperately needs. He did go ahead and get his surgery, and poor little guy, after his surgery, show the next slide is actually kind of hilarious. He didn't care. This is why I love pit bulls. They don't care. He was just on it, wanted to play. He didn't care at all. But he did really well after his surgery. He wanted an ice pack, he wanted a pillow, and he wanted to take a nap, clearly. He was happy. And this is just a little while later, as you can tell, back at the vitamin shop, because he just can't get enough. You can see here a little bit of the scar. We didn't want to show you the pictures of the scar, in case you were still eating. But he's such a lover. And again, he's healing so fast. At this point, he was healing so quickly. This was in March. And now he's a lot better off than he was. Next slide, please. Is it not one that I want? Okay, sorry. That's what happens when you don't write a speech. To sum up what I wanted to say about Preston, again, he is Linux. He is Linux. He is what, unfortunately, Linux was just in the wrong place. All these dogs that are in their BSL are in the wrong place. People like Anu that gave you the speech earlier, when she was looking for her dog, if she had wanted a pit bull at that time, I couldn't have got her a dog because of where she lives. Preston has a new foster home now because he needed to be in a foster home where he could get a lot more exercise, because he needs to get his rehabilitation going, get his legs moving, get the walks in every day. But again, the foster home he's in now, he couldn't have went there 6 months ago without being under BSL law. So I want to applaud the city of Cincinnati for repealing that back in the spring. And now I would like to let this story finish with his awesome, awesome new foster mama and my cousin by marriage, Mrs. Danielle Williams. It's all you. Yeah.
So we are now, my husband is actually back there in the orange shirt. We are Preston's foster mom and dad. And we actually chose to foster Preston because we have 2 dogs. And one of the dogs was very old and passed away a couple months before we had seen that Preston needed a foster home. And Lacey was a very loved pet, loved her to death. And Fred did too, and Fred was getting lonely. And so I was praying about, what am I going to do? I've got this senior dog, and the senior dog is lonely, and he needs a friend. Then I see this adorable little dog named Preston, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that dog's so cute, but he's so young, and how's this going to work? So I was very worried about that. So I called my cousin Debbie, and I'm like, okay, Debbie, I need to know. And I think I gave her, we talked for like 30 minutes. I gave her a long list of things I was really worried about and said, does he do this? Does he do that? I need to know, blah, 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 blah. And I have cats, and I'm thinking, does he chase the cats? So we talked for a little bit, and we came to the conclusion that we'd like to meet Preston. And so Debbie went on ahead and brought him over. So the first thing that we did is we took Preston and Fred for a walk together because we wanted Preston to be very calm. Not only do I have cats, but I also have 3 kids, and they're very young. And so we wanted to make sure that Preston was calm when he came into our home, and Fred was just in heaven because we had another dog for him to play with. And we got back, and Fred, that's Fred right there, my boy Fred, the big black dog. We got back, they played in the backyard for about 45 minutes, and I think Fred slept the rest of the night because Fred's like 10. He just can't, he can't take that. And honestly, Preston just wasn't in shape, and Preston did the same thing. So it seemed like a good fit. So we said, okay, well, we'll go ahead and keep him overnight, and we'll just kind of see how it goes because we were still a little worried. Yeah, well, we were a little worried about the cat, and we just really weren't sure. We're like, okay, is he a cat chaser, or does he care? So that night, we found out Preston is a cat chaser. So I called Debbie up, and I'm like, okay, look, if we can solve the cat dilemma, I will foster him happily. So they come over, 15 minutes into this, we taught Preston, you do not chase cats. And Preston does not chase cats. So he does a fantastic job. Now outside he might do it a little because I have 2 that will just run. And he's like, oh, really? It's time to play? But in general, it's playful. He's not like trying to kill the cats. He loves the cats. And they actually will lay down together on the floor. They walk freely. They like each other. So ultimately, we are his foster parents. Now, I'm sure many of you are thinking, well, if you just love this foster dog, which I do, he's like my nap buddy. I'm so busted by a kid with my iPhone. But he just lays down with me. He's so sweet. I just love him. So I know many of you are thinking, why are you fostering him? Why do you not want to just adopt him? Well, I kind of have 2 reasons. The first one is when Lacey got older and she got very sick, she needed a lot of time. Fred is old, and he is on medicine, and he is definitely needing attention. So my concern is if I adopt Preston, what happens if Fred, gets very sick and I need to give him all my attention? Because when Lacey passed away, I actually we couldn't leave her alone at the house for a few weeks. So that was my concern number 1. But ultimately, it's really turned into just a passion that I really want to save a life. And so for us, I really feel like fostering a dog is just a wonderful gift to the dog that would be put down in the shelter, that we can bring into our home, that we can absolutely love just as a member of the family until he does find his forever home.